Yeah, in a couple of videos we discussed about age of consent, bans on pornography, you know, censorship, all that stuff that's been going on around the world. We have policies that are being pushed, online censorship, protection acts, and stuff like that. All it is to take control of the internet and what you are watching, what are reading, the information that you're able to gather. See, one thing about the internet, unlike some of the dangers, like for example, TikTok, the other half is that you're open to information that even the libraries don't have, that you're able to gather stuff from other places that it would take you going around the world to get. Now it's at your fingertips at home. And you have other people who are experts in certain fields, whether it's medical, climate, education, that are giving their 2 cents, which governments like here in the United States don't want you to hear that truth. And now we're hearing a former Soviet country, so a law that had banned some of this stuff has now been lifted after so many years. A particular subject matter is able to be seen now in that country. But before we start, thank you for those of you who have subscribed, like, share. We're just hitting 600. Thank you again. Continue to move up on there. We would love to get to 700 by Christmas. Hopefully we'll get there to start fresh in the new year and get closer to 1,000. We're getting there. Thank you again. And thank you to all of our other social media platforms for being there as well. You guys are just as important as my YouTube viewers. You're all important. We do enjoy having you here, and I'm glad that you enjoy the programming that we bring to you. So back when I was a kid, you grew up with the Soviet Union, the Cold War, which we're probably on our way back to another Cold War at the rate we're going right now. But you had Reagan come in and
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Told Gorbachev, tear down those walls in Germany, and that's what happened. But a lot of the laws and regulations that were during the Soviet era, and most people don't realize this, whether it's Russia or any of their other countries, for example, Georgia, not Georgia, United States, Soviet Georgia at that time period, had laws on the books that were never eliminated, that it still continues to this day. Some are good, some are bad. Most of the time, it's bad, considering that it's a part of the Soviet Republic. But out of XBiz, and here's some good news on there, former Soviet Republic of Georgia overturns pornography ban. The Constitutional Court of Georgia ruled on Friday to overturn the former Soviet Republic blanket ban on the production and distribution of pornography. The court effectively legalized the production and dissemination of pornography, ruling in favor of a claim that the current definition of pornography was vague and open to interpretation. Local independent news outlet OC Media reported, although the analysis also warned that a fight for the explicit legalization of pornography may still remain an uphill battle, as lawmakers may quickly redefine the term. The judges also order lawmakers to come up with a clear definition of pornography by May of 2023, sort of like a Miller's test. Until the court's ruling, the making, dissemination, or advertising of pornography works, printed publications, images, or similar items were punishable up to 2 years in prison, which was probably a lot more during the Soviet era. OC Media explained, according to the report, the 4 constitutional court judges found unanimously that the law left an unreasonable wide margin for interpretation, which could create the grounds for arbitrariness and injustice. Crucial in the judge's decision was the plaintiffs that claimed that the law did not differentiate between pornography and erotic material, or whether pornography, the necessary implied body penetration, nudity, or portrayal of sexual activity without showing sex organs. The term obscenities used to define pornography for broadcast purposes was also ruled too abstract. In 2017, Georgian prosecutors charged George, and sorry if I pronounced it wrong, Lugia, and 11 others for publishing pornography produced outside Georgia on their website. Lugia was found innocent, but when the prosecutors appealed, he took the case to the Constitutional Court or was represented by Georgian Young Lawyers Association. See, here's the thing when you have situations like this, and perfect example, this right here, this, what's going on in Georgia right now, in the former Soviet Georgia, is the exact thing we've discussed. The definition, and this is why we have to have the Miller's test. This is why we, when we look, and we have the Constitution as well. When you look at the situation where people says, I do not like this, this is obscene, it is pornographic. Saying those words does not mean the particular subject matter, magazine article, picture, movie, novel, game, music is pornographic. It is the same situation where people say, well, he's racist for saying that. And he's his opinion, but he's not being racist. Or he's a Nazi. This is word salad. The words that are given to frighten you. This is what happened with the elections just recently. Some people were frightened, but to hear the words, we will lose our democracy. But you have to remember one terminology in this country. To the republic. We are first a republic with democratic values. We are run as a republic. Most people, when you hear that it says, oh, it's going to be the end of democracy, we're a republic. Plain and simple. We're not like the United Kingdom. We are not like France. We are not like Germany and other countries, Belgium, many other countries that have democracy. We are first on a republic. And we have to respect the laws that we put into play. You have people out there that want to remove these laws. They want to remove the Miller's test and all that. And you see what happened in Georgia. You have they are basically confused because say you have a girl in a bikini, a very sexy thong bikini. In some countries, that's called obscene. It's called very obscene, but it's a bikini. How is it obscene? The closest you're going to get to it, in like, say, for example, is you're seeing the butt. But in a bikini, whether it's covered up or something, you do still see parts of the butt. It's covering, in the case of a woman, it's covering the breast, it's covering the vagina. It's covering the holes, as they would say. But people still call it pornography in some places. Certain books, novels like Lady's Chatterley Lover. If you've ever heard of that novel, happens to be a little bit explicit, it's because basically that is the way it sounds. Yes, there is sex in the book. Yes, it is a romance on there, and it's a romance romp with multiple partners. But it is a story. It is not pornographic. It is actually a classical novelization. But they called it pornography at the time, but it's not. It's just an explicit story. There are many explicit stories in history. You can go through every novel that's ever been written since the beginning of, the writing word. When words were being created, the alphabet and all that. And as they created novels and stories, we started with cave paintings and moved on to statuettes. And then we got we started writing on paper. We started telling stories on stage, Shakespearean stuff like that. Hey, Shakespeare was very dark. You know, people would ban stuff like that as well. And there are many other stories on stuff like that. You had novels like Catcher in the Rye, which I went to Catholic school. You would think a Catholic school letting students read Catcher in the Rye. But there was a time that, it was bad. But you go to read Catcher in the Rye, it's like the old joke in South Park, it's a whiny kid. Which, yeah, it was. Good novel, but, it was Salinger. Salinger was that way. And there are many other novels on there. To Kill a Mockingbird, for example. One of the great classic movies of all time is from a classic novel. About a white man who stood forward to defend a black man in a court of law that would practically lynch the guy in that time period. And the people just don't understand situations when it comes to what, how can I put this? Let's put it, make it easier. Adult content has been around for generations. Ask India. India created the Kama Sutra. Remember that. Now they want to put all these bans and stuff like that. Yeah, porn. You could say one thing. There's some crazy porn out there. There's some freaky deaky stuff out there, but also there's some stuff that is just standard general adult. For example, back when going back to when I was in the adult industry, there was a porn actress, Cadena Royale. She created her own company. She created a couples friendly or a female friendly porn company that made more of a romantic stuff that you could probably edit down and put it on regular cable, on Cinemax or stuff like that, or we used to call it Skinemax back in the day. And there were more toward romantic stuff on there. I remember when we used to print that stuff up, and it would sell very good. They still sell to this day, stuff like that. And there is a lot of that online as well. Yeah, there are some crazy stuff. Big girls, small girls, guys with very long johns, tall, short, fat, missing a limb, it's you're going to get that. You're going to get anything like that. Now, the difference is, where's the point where you stop? And that's when it gets to child pornography, obviously, and bestiality, and a couple other terminologies. There are some torture that basically goes to the line, stuff that are like overseas, the stuff you see on the dark web that you don't want, stuff that, portrayed like in Videodrome, the movie Videodrome. But, it is a real dark industry, but also a very open industry on there as well. And what I mean by that is every industry has their dark side and their light. Always remember that. Hollywood has its dark sides. People flock to watch documentaries on celebrities, what's going on with them, and all that. We have the Harvey Weinstein on there, the Johnny Depp situation, many others. People watch these things. Going way back, there are many dark stories. The Black Dahlia and the George Reeves murder. You can call it a murder or accidental death. We don't know. George Reeves, was Superman. The main star of Hogan's Heroes, his death, and many other sex scandals and stuff like that. You're going to get a dark side to the nature, and you're always going to have someone that's going to try to shut down the type of content. Remember, Hollywood had their time period, and we're back in it again. The Hays Code. There was a time at the beginning of Hollywood, it was, no holds bar. You had girls, risque things where, they're in bathtubs and half naked, sitting around powdering themselves in lingerie, and they deemed that pornographic and obscene, and created laws and regulations where they couldn't do a lot of that stuff, including adding onto it homosexuality, drug use, and many other things that they did. Look up Hays Code one time. I call this right now, we're in Hays Code 2.0 for the reason is you see all the content, the older content getting either remade, made for the modern era, or a extensive apology put onto it. For example, Gone with the Wind has a 5-minute introduction apology about slavery at the time. It was the time period. It was the Civil War. You don't need to apologize for something that was long gone. And I don't think anybody's left from that era. They'll be well over 100 by now. But the thing is that there are those out there that will sit and demand that certain things be eliminated. And that is wrong. That's censorship. That is removing content from society. We can't live without the artistic expression. And you say, well, how's pornography artistic? In a way it is, because it's the stories that come out of it. And you say, well, no, we're looking at the sex. Yes, but it has to have a story. A lot of them have to have a story behind them. A lot of them have to be shot certain ways, certain angles. There are some adult films, and you can go look around on this, that's shot beautifully, some better than Hollywood productions. Lighting and stuff like that. The music, the score, the score within it itself, the way the people play the roles, and you're like saying, well, they're porn actors. How many porn actors have gone to Hollywood? Tracy Lords went, and Ginger Lynn, and many others. They didn't stop at the porn industry. Some that are from Hollywood went to the porn industry. Think about that for a minute as well. It's just another form of entertainment. That's all it is. That's all it is. Georgia had the moment to say to themselves, we have something wrong here. We're stifling the speech here. We're censoring things that we shouldn't be censoring. So we'll see how it comes along. In the comments below, tell me how you're feeling about this, how your thoughts on this. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share. As a programming note, the next 2 weeks, as we're getting into the holidays, the content will be a little light. We are taking our time off for the Thanksgiving holidays to spend time with our families. We do thank you for tuning in. We do have one special coming out. That'll be on Cyber Weekend, Cyber Saturday. That'll be the weekend on Thanksgiving. That will be the Rabbity Rabbit Leftovers Marathon, which will be about 11 or 12 o'clock Eastern on Odyssey. So do hit the link below if you haven't subscribed to Odyssey yet. You get the notifications, go over there, on there. If I haven't said this yet, and I'll say it on every other video, have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye now.
Oh, it's you. I didn't know you with all your clothes on.